Next up, we have Ms. Nilambera Pradhan. She is a future leader and a Stamford American International School student in Singapore. She's passionate about science, social change, and holistic leadership. She's blending her project, Atoms to Mountains, with a collaboration with Daughters of Tomorrow to create positive community impact. Ms. Nilambera, the stage is yours. We're ready to hear your raw story.
Hi everyone. It's a privilege to getting to speak to all of you. So a little about me is that my name is Neela. I'm a grade 12 student at Stamford American. And what I would like to share with you guys today is a project called Atoms to Mountains. So the idea was basically born out of personal experiences over many years as I started to realize the untapped potential of the girl child. So when I was in India, the daughter of our household help, I was friends with her, and she was really nice, and she was also really smart. So she was like a straight A student, she aced all of her exams. But when it came the time for her family to decide who gets to continue the school with their limited financial means, they chose her brother. And her brother was smart too, but not as smart as her. My mom, who ran a robotics education company, she decided to support the daughter and offered her training as a teacher and a job in her company. And while we were able to help one girl who we happened to cross paths with, I soon realized that this was something that should be scaled globally to like however much it needs to be. And that's basically how my project was born. So, as the name suggests, the idea behind my project is that small things can add up to big impact. However, this wouldn't be like one of the general fundraising projects that are kind of like you fundraise once and then that's it. It's more like a continuous thing. So I wanted this to be something that students take on because I believe that this is a problem of our generation and it also should be solved by our generation. So basically, Atoms to Mountains is an innovative digital fundraising platforms where students make micro contributions to a fund, and these micro contributions are just like the rounded off change for their daily lunch bill. So if your daily lunch bill was like $10.50, it would just add 50 cents to the fund. And then using an app, the student contributes this change every day, and then the amount can be transferred to the monthly or quarterly or like yearly or any other time period. And to see how quickly this scales, I did an experiment, not a thought experiment. And basically, if every student in Singapore participated in this program, we could raise around $5 million in just one school year. So that's basically the idea. That's the power of atoms, is that they can build mountains. However, my journey wasn't without setbacks. I'm an introvert, so I don't really like socializing that much. In fact, this is my first conference. When I started this project, I had to talk to a lot of people at high positions in my school, like the superintendent or the principal, and that really scared me because I had never talked to any of these people. In fact, in school, I'm usually just wandering around the hallways and then just going to my classes and just have like 2 or 3 friends. So they also kept telling me about legal concerns, which I also had no idea about. So that all the money I fundraise has to go to a Singaporean charity, and all of that stuff. Plus, I had to find charities to accept my funding. So I went through a list of about like 10 or 15 charities. And finally, I settled on Daughters of Tomorrow. So obviously, I had people who were helping me, like Mr. Gardner and my dad. But some of my teachers weren't that supportive. And a lot of them just kept telling me challenges and setbacks, like the legal ones, and that, any money I raise here has to go to a Singaporean charity. The school said that they would have a challenge to get parental consent, and at one point they also said that they wouldn't want to have their school's name associated to the project because they don't know how it would turn out. And then after a while, I also started wondering why it's so tough to help people. because I just wanted to like help a bunch of people, but I just kept coming across these problems, and I was just really confused. So anyway, around a year later, my project won a MYP Innovator Grant Award for around $11,000. And later on, I partnered with DOT, which is a Singaporean charity that helps underprivileged girls and women. And my first contribution was to them, I think, a couple of months ago. And I presented my first check for around $3,500 to DOT. And this was during International Women's Month. And I think it was also matched by the Singapore Government Tote Board, which made the entire contribution $7,000. And my plans after this is probably, I just want to scale this to however much it needs to be to help these people. And basically, the reason I created this as an app was so that it can be used anywhere, so it's not localized to one place. Because a lot of the fundraising initiatives at my school, they're more like, oh, this one person will run a marathon for like 15 kilometers, and then after that, however much money they raise would go to this one charity as a one-time thing. But I didn't want this to be a one-time thing, so that's why I created something that could be like scaled however much I want it to be. And basically, I just wanted this to support girls' schools in India and other countries where the potential of the girl child is yet to be fully realized. So thank you all for your time, and I hope to share more about this more at the office.